Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey everyone.
Please let us know if you can see us and hear us okay.
Oh yeah.
Everybody in the chat, let's see who's here today. We got Purple Crayons, Wolf and Hound, Kenneth, Terry, how's it going? John, and my mother is here. She just flew back to New York this morning. She was down here for
Oh
two
nice.
weeks. Yeah, she was down here for the holidays for 2 weeks, and she flew back this morning. And it was pretty sad to see her go, but we all got to
Yeah.
go home sometime. Para Urban
Oh yeah.
Ontario with
Definitely.
Derek. How's it going? If I missed anybody who
Hey
came in,
everyone.
hello, hello. Thank you for joining us tonight. So, guys, I have with me over here Alex, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, my
Alex.
name is Alex.
Okay, from AR Paranormal. And he
Yeah.
and his partner, I guess, he's your filming partner who couldn't be here with us tonight.
Yeah, yeah, he had to work. He couldn't get off and it was just complications, but I'm here, so
That's cool. That's
and I
cool.
told him I was like if he needs to message in, he can go join into the group chat and he can message in. I'll
There we
answer
go.
stuff like that. Just one
Perfect.
thing.
Yeah. So,
Oh yeah.
guys, for those of you who aren't familiar, I know I've mentioned them a couple of times in a couple of my videos and live streams. Um, Alex and his filming partner, again, they are AR Paranormal. They do paranormal investigations in the Florida area. And we actually have a lot in common as far as experiences in some of the same
Yeah.
cemeteries. For example, Spring Hill Cemetery and Charlotte Memorial,
Yeah.
which I call the dark hallway because of the dark hallway that's there. And then, of
Yeah, it's
course,
it's
the big
intense there.
one, Indian Spring.
Yeah.
Um, so, oh, sorry. Hey, Biznugs. How's it going, guys? So basically, guys, we're just going to just sit and chat about our similar experiences in these places and stuff. And if you guys have any questions in the chat, feel free to type it in, but try to type it in capital letters so that we can recognize it because we probably won't be
Yeah.
paying, full attention to the chat. So again, if you guys have
Oh
any
yeah.
questions, hey, Billy, just ask in the chat. But first, I want to talk about the obvious
Yeah.
similarity that we have, and that would be Indian Spring Cemetery. So a lot of my
Yeah.
viewers obviously know about a lot of experiences that I have had there. So can you tell us
Oh
about some
yeah.
of the experiences that you have experienced?
So I was actually just mentioning this the other day that we have kind of like similar experiences, and then at the same time we get stuff that I didn't really see in your videos. You get more of like the feel and the Hewitt Mausoleum, and we get
Yes.
that like yeah, it's just like it always feels like it's attacking us kind of
Mhm.
thing the second we step in there. But with what you have found that we have left behind, pretty much in that Hewitt Mausoleum kind of
Yeah.
invoke it a
For those
little
and for
bit,
those in the
just a
chat who
little
don't
bit.
know, yeah, for those in the chat who don't remember, the candles
Yeah,
that we found in the Hewitt Mausoleum were actually
yeah,
put there by Alex and his partner,
yeah,
but we found out later that the symbols that were on the candles actually mean like protection
yeah,
and things like that, correct?
yeah. One there's different levels. They're actual old symbols. Some of them are angel symbols that you actually, if you go into like older churches and you look at the stones, or if you look at the actual like stained glass, there's little etchings of them, and they were used way back in the day as like protection. And some of
Okay.
them are arcane to like the actual like archangels and stuff, like Gabriel, Michael, stuff like that. And so they were used for protection. So we used
Mhm.
two different levels of protection ones on two different candles. Then there's some that are actually old, like Norse symbols, like the Loki's also communication symbol. So we use
Mhm.
that on one of our candles. They're made of animal like byproduct, animal fat,
Okay.
and you can get them from like they made them in Italy like hundreds of years ago.
Oh, wow.
And what the reason why they're the reason why they're so well to use with those runes is because they're more natural. So
Okay.
it really brings out
And
the energy though.
so, like the communication symbol, does that basically indicate to the spirits that that's what you want to do? You want to communicate?
Yes. So there's like a communicate one, and then there's a safe passage one. So it's kind of like picking up the phone and then hanging it up. So you light the one for communication, light the other one when you're done to like pretty much say like, all right, you can go ahead and go now, kind of thing.
Okay,
So
that's cool. That
yeah,
is so cool. See, I never even knew any of that until
yeah,
you explained that to me, and I think that's really interesting. Um,
yeah. They're awesome. They're great.
by the way, guys in chat, if you want to subscribe to AR Paranormal, and I highly recommend it because they do some really, really good investigations. The link is down in the description. You guys can go ahead and click that and subscribe. I forgot to mention that. Um, but one question I
Yeah,
do have that I've always been kind of curious about when I go to Indian Spring Cemetery is the children's section or Babyland.
oh
I'm
yeah,
sure that you've been over in that section, and
yeah, oh yeah,
legend has it that people will often see like a tall shadowed man walking around. People have heard screams before, which I heard a scream in your last video when you were at
yeah,
Indian Spring. My mother
yeah.
and I were actually
We
watching it, and we were like, "What?"
Yeah, we get a lot of experiences. I mean, we always kind of like boiled it down because it's so close to the Hewitt Mausoleum that it would be like maybe it's something spilling off from that we kind of like, well, maybe it's just that. But then we're in the museum, the Hewitt Mausoleum, and we hear things into the actual Babyland, where the kids are and stuff. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh,
because
maybe
when we
it's
heard
over
the scream in
there.
the video, I believe you were over by the
Yeah,
Sandlin family plot, which is not far away from Babyland. It's literally like
yeah, that's
diagonal.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we actually kept seeing like not a shadow figure, but it kind of like at the not even the corner of my eye. Like I literally was looking completely across to Babyland, and I saw like a woman walking by, and then not even like maybe 10, 20 seconds later is when we actually heard the scream.
Yeah.
And then my friend
Yeah, because I
Rob,
remember
who's
you
my
saying
partner
that you
with
saw the
this, he
shadow.
said it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was intense. Yeah, it was intense. But we have seen this like really tall, almost slender man like shadow
Hmm.
over there, and that kind of like creeped me out enough to almost want to just leave right then and there. But but
Definitely, definitely. I
we
mean,
stick it
I've
out.
never seen the shadow, but we have heard like
Yeah,
distant screams in the cemetery. And we've also had complications where, not all the time, but sometimes, like if we're going live, and as soon as we
yeah,
enter the baby section, like our live stream will cut out. And then when we exit the baby section, like if we go up and around and come back down, our live stream will just magically come back. It's so weird,
that's
and it doesn't
crazy.
happen all the time. So if it was like bad signal or something, you would think that that would happen every time, and it doesn't.
Yeah,
It just happens
we get a lot of
sometimes.
yeah, we get a lot of our like on our K2 meter, we get a lot of our like just hits on that in the Babyland and the Hewitt Mausoleum. And I think what's the one with the gigantic almost looks like a shrine like pedestal with a piece of wood in it. I wanted to say it was the Sandlands, but
Oh,
no, that's
yeah, that's
yeah,
the
it's like
one
right in the middle of the plot.
right next to the Sandlin
Yeah, it's
family.
huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it Morgan?
We put I think yeah, yes, it
I
is
think it's
Morgan. Yeah, yeah,
Morgan.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we put the EMF on there once, and we weren't getting any hits, and we were about to like kind of like, oh, okay, well, we're not getting anything here. And right as we like, I started to turn to walk away, it kept going to like red over and over and over again. I was like, why does it do this when there's no camera on? But it was
Right? Oh my
crazy.
God. That is so funny that you say that because I feel like more
Yeah,
things happen when your camera's off rather than when it's on. And you're like, I swear to God, guys, this happened. You have to believe me.
yeah,
But so,
yeah.
my question to you is, the people who repeatedly see things, especially in Babyland, like the shadow figure and stuff like that, do you personally believe that something like that would be like a residual haunt that
Now,
happens like on a regular basis?
now, something that I had looked up. There's a spirit called a siphon, and they were generally like caretakers to um, pretty much. Can you hear me?
Oh, oh no, we just lost him. We lost him. That's all right. That's all right. We'll wait. He'll come back. He was having some issues connecting with StreamYard, so I don't know if that's it, but oh wait, I think there he is. Okay. There we
I don't know
go.
why that just did that, but
That's okay. You know
sorry
what? It
about
does
that.
it to me too. Usually when I'm using
Yeah.
StreamYard, sometimes when I'm like 45, 50 minutes in, it just goes boop. And I'm just like, where
Yeah.
did I go?
Yeah, that was crazy. Like I said, I've never used this before, so I was just like, oh, crazy. That just
Yeah.
happened. And we were talking about things like live streams cutting out.
Yes.
But yeah, there's like a spirit that I looked up into. I forgot what the book was called, but I think it's called Caretakers of Graves. I gotta look it back up again.
Okay.
But there's a thing called a siphon. And the siphon, what they do is they're pretty much caretakers to like cemeteries or just anywhere where there's like a plot of graves. And they feed off like any negative energy that might be there, you know.
Okay.
And if a spirit gets too restless, they kind of like keep them in check. But over time, it like people vandalize, negative energy. People trash the cemetery, negative energy, and then it kind of
Yeah.
corrupts the spirit, and that's when you get these big Slender Man kind of like shadow figures. That's when your spirit box starts saying bad words and harsh things to you and stuff.
And they do that often over there at Indian
Yeah,
Spring.
which is great content for people like us, but then at the same time, you know.
At the same time, you're
But
like, oh my God, like I'm so offended. That ghost
yeah,
just told me to F off. Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
but
I'm
it's
like
funny. It's funny that you
honestly,
mentioned that. No, I'm sorry, go
because
ahead.
your last stream when you went up to that one mausoleum that's kind of like in the middle, by where like the flagpole is, and it's
Yes.
open. We noticed that last time we were there. We were like, this was not open before. This has never been open.
Right.
And we walked up to it, EMF started going off, and just like you had said too, we got like a weird, funky, like sulfur smell. And then there was like our we don't have a spirit box at the moment. We want to get an SB7 or the SB11 just spoil ourselves, or get both and just double up on everything.
Yeah, they're great to
But we
have.
use the necrophonic. So when we were walking by, we have it hooked up to our Bluetooth speaker, and it was just screaming at us. So we were just like,
Wow.
okay, so should we not be around here?
And
And it
that
was
you
like
said
right
that was
towards
in the
the end
section
too.
over by the flagpole, correct? Like in that middle
Yeah, there's
section.
that gray one.
Oh, I think he cut out again. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. It's I couldn't hear him for a second, and then I could, and then I couldn't. He must be having internet issues. Let me grab my tea. I put it all the way back here, and I don't know if I can reach it. There we go. I don't know why I said it there. But hey, everybody coming in. Here we go. Here we go.
I don't know why it's doing that. That's so
It's
weird.
okay. It happens. It happens. It's okay. No
Yeah.
problem at all. But as I was saying, so yeah, that was all in the middle section. And the reason why I'm asking that is because the last few times that we went there, we smelled like a rancid smell, almost like rotting flesh mixed with like feces and sulfur. And it was just like this whole combination of disgusting smells. And we couldn't figure out where it was coming from. There was no trash cans anywhere or nothing. So I don't know.
Yeah,
And
no, it's there's so many sections to that place that it's like you have like the back part where like the what is it, the Peabody, I think Frances Peabody, I think her name was.
The first burials there.
The first documented graves or whatever it was.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's that, and there in the back, we go back there, there's so much movement all around us. The second we like kind of step to that stone like outer plot, and it's
because they have it outlined.
crazy.
Yeah. Usually when we go back there, we get some really good stuff over the spirit box. But literally the last like 2 or 3 times that I went there, we went over into that section and there was like barely anything. But
there's times where we go back there and we get absolutely nothing, but it's still like I want to get it in every video just because it's the original plot, the original person.
You
know,
never
those
know.
that's
You never
great.
know.
I love that. Yeah,
Exactly.
just in case there's that one time, you know, even if an alligator just pops out of that water and comes and gets us, you know.
We're
Yeah.
always freaked
I
out
I
over by
don't.
that wood line. Because, I mean, you
Yeah, I
obviously
don't.
know it goes down into the water, you know, like down the
Yeah,
bank. And a lot of people don't know
yeah,
that. And we have to say that in our videos. Like when we're hearing noises, we're like, I
yeah,
hope it's not a gator or a pig or,
yeah,
um,
yeah, exactly. And I was like, there's that one grave on the far side. Like if you're looking into the cemetery, there's that one grave on the right side, all the way towards the other brush, and it has that metal gator on it. So maybe like the person was a Gators fan. Actually, I think there was a UF Gators flag by their grave too. There's like it's in our videos too, and
I probably have
um,
seen it, but it's not. I mean, I've
yeah,
been there so
yeah,
many
it's
times.
yeah, it's over on the far side. Every time we go there, I'm like, so there's a gator here. There's probably gators over there. There's gators over here. It's Florida, it's
Yeah.
kind of expect it.
Gators
It's either
everywhere.
that you
And
get
that cemetery is literally surrounded by woods.
yeah, it's we see a lot of rabbits there. We've seen raccoons, a couple of possums, I think once or twice.
Yep.
I think it was a possum or armadillos. And I'm just like,
Mm.
I mean, you're in the middle of the woods, so you're guaranteed to see it.
And nobody will hear you scream
But
in that cemetery.
uh, yeah, no, because I think there's those two houses right there, and I think they're elderly people that live in there, and they
Oh,
probably
okay.
take their hearing aids out at night to not hear
No wonder why
screams
we
at
never
night.
get caught.
Yeah, I was like, they probably just take their hearing aids out because they're probably tired of the screaming too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, because that cemetery, I mean, it does have hours of visitation from dusk till dawn, even though we don't really
yeah,
obey that because a
I
lot of
I
people
looked at
investigate it.
yeah, and I looked it up too. One of those houses is for sale. I think it's
Mm.
like 180,000 or 280,000, something like that, to buy one of those places. I was like, might have to take a loan out of the bank.
Now,
But
is that one of
see
the
that,
houses that are along the road that lead into it, or one of the houses
yeah.
across from the water?
Well, there's that where the cemetery is that you go to where you call the dark hallway, and then there's that long strip to get to Indian Springs.
Yes.
There's those
Okay.
two white houses you pass by. They're not really like houses. They're like double wides, I think.
Double wides. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
There's those two white ones. They're literally right there, and then it's like cemetery. It's just like on the other side of the brush that's right there. And I was like, the first one you pass by, I think that's the one that's for sale. And I'm like,
Okay.
that
Yeah,
all-purpose
I
loan.
remember passing by them a few times and thinking to myself, "Oh my God, these
Yeah,
people live right next to Indian Springs Cemetery." Like, you got to
yeah,
wonder if they have
yeah.
experiences in their homes, you know?
We
But
we heard you talk about the place in one of your videos, and then you were talking about how you were getting the hits left and right. I guess from a previous time or that time. I can't remember which
mhm.
video we watched of the woman who died when she was ironing her clothes and the house caught on fire.
Mary Sandlin,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, like led you all the way to her grave or something like that, or the
Hmm.
second you got to her grave, you started getting hit. We were talking about that, and right as we passed by the houses, I'm like, they live here. What?
Yeah,
Like, I was
that's
like,
what I was
these two
saying. Like,
houses.
every time we
Yeah,
pass it, I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't even know how. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to do it because it's
yeah,
that cemetery. It's not just the cemetery, you know, in particular, it's that cemetery because that cemetery is actually, I don't know if you're aware, but the list for most haunted places in Southwest Florida. Oh, lost him again. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, everybody in chat. I'm so sorry if I'm missing you guys. Hey, KK. Hey, Sue. Moon over Miami. Ooh, I like that name. I like that name. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for subscribing to AR Paranormal. I've seen that some of you said that you've subscribed. So thank you guys for that.
yeah. Thanks for subscribing. And if you subscribe, that's cool. Our biggest thing is we're not looking to become famous. If we become famous from this, then it's cool. But we just like to, get evidence, post things. Pretty much. We don't really
Just have fun
consider
with it.
ourselves like, yeah, like I've been into this since I was really young.
Hmm.
Most people have watched like ghost hunters and stuff. And they're like, oh my God, I want to do that. And I had
Yeah.
family and friends that did this stuff as like a hobby before. And I was just like, I was so interested. I was just like, yes, this is what we need to do. And I don't know if I can't remember if we put it in the video because I know I had to record some of it with my phone. But we had an event at the Newport Richie Theater, the Richie Theater, and that place has been around since the No Talk like videos or movies and stuff like acting had been around.
Okay. Like Charlie
yeah, there was an
Chaplin
actor.
and all that.
Yeah, and there was an actor that came from California, and there's so much work out there. He wanted to go and kind of spread it somewhere else where it's not as tapped. He
Right.
built that place way back in the day. I think it was like a total of $53,000, which to build that place would have cost someone almost 500,000, stuff like that. It was $53,000 back then. Built the place and started producing, acting in, and directing and stuff like that, his own movies, if I'm remembering that right. And the people that we did that event with, we had done another event with before. They're Paranormal Cancer. They're an LLC. They all their proceeds either go to the actual place to help keep it, the historical part of it going, keep the place, upright, and a lot of the proceeds go to fight cancer.
Cool.
And a big part of that is like children who also develop cancer because they're the smallest percentage of like the studies, the medicine that go to them is the smallest percentage. It's mostly all like for adults, and it really sucks too because kids have so much more longer to live. Try to save them, right?
Yes.
They could go off to become doctors and discover something that could actually fight cancer and neutralize it.
Should put them first, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not saying one life outweighs more another, but at the same time, it it's kind of makes sense.
No, I totally get it, and I agree. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our future.
Yeah, and it was started. The organization. It was started by paranormal investigators who also developed cancer too.
Okay.
The group itself they've suffered a lot of losses. Some very personal, like one of the main people. His name is Chris. At least he's the main person we know. I know that it's a lot bigger than what we've seen and we've worked with, and he's lost his father to cancer. So
wow.
Yeah, so I mean it's a big thing. I lost my right before I actually started doing the whole AR Paranormal with my friend. My father passed away, not from cancer, but he he had a heart attack in his sleep, and it was a big hit.
I'm sorry to hear
it was just kind of one of those well, thank you. It's hard, but it was a crazy little rough spurt before we even got to that point too. So
I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But
so can I ask you really quick,
yeah,
what does AR stand for?
So it's Alex and Rob.
Okay,
yeah, I'm Alex,
that's what I was assuming. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah. No, we carry AR rifles, AR-15 rifles around. And they have salt pellets in them. We just shoot the ghost with the salt pellets. That's the joke I make.
Your proton packs.
Yeah, the proton pack stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we do that. It's just AR Paranormal. Yeah, Alex and Rob. I was thinking about it. And I was like, we start adding our other friends in. We have a friend named Dan, and we could be Rad Paranormal, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah, I was like, he came down. He lives in Oregon. He moved out to Oregon because his son's out there, and he came down to visit. And while he was down here, he actually joined into a video with us. And we're like, we're not going to take him to an easy place. We took him straight up to Spring Hill Cemetery.
Oh my God, of all places.
Yeah. And one of the funniest videos, part of that whole video while we were there, was we were literally just talking about how in the back right corner, there's a grave, and on the grave it says Brandon. He was a soldier. I guess he had passed away only within the past few years or something like that. And we had a huge weird experience right there at his grave. We were there. Wow. It was one of our first handful of times. We didn't even have a camera to post it at that time. We were just walking around with our phones and flashlights.
Man.
Yeah, so it was just like, it was predated AR Paranormal pretty much. But we were there. We brought offerings, stuff like that. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. It was rum, and I found this old school rum that had been around for a couple of 100 years.
Hmm.
And back in the day, during celebrations and festivals, slaves back in the day were able to drink rum. And at this
Right. Being that
specific
it is an African
cemetery,
American cemetery. Right.
yeah. Yeah. So being that it is an African American cemetery where a lot of slaves were tortured and then hung there,
Mm.
we try to find the biggest tree in the most center of the place, because that's apparently the hanging tree. And
Yes.
I left the rum there. We left like oranges and what was it? I believe we left like pastries and stuff there too, because a lot of times you leave that as an offering, and coin. And that's
Yes.
kind of like to show like we come in good spirit kind of thing.
Right.
So
We come
we
bearing
left that
gifts.
there. Exactly. And we straighten up the graves a lot. We like, there's that one child grave in the back that's always messed up. The little garden fence around it's always knocked down. We
We
always try to
actually have a few
reorganize that.
toys. We have a few toys on that grave. And when we went
Yeah.
back after putting the toys on the grave, they were just like tossed all over the place. Like somebody literally went in there
Yeah.
and just started throwing them around. And I'm like, who would do
Yeah.
that?
And the crazy thing is I don't want to assume it is like that, someone just going there tossing things around. But at the same time, that not everyone as good hearted as most people. So it could be
Yeah.
that, or it could just be weather. But at the same time, I've never seen a gust of wind take a teddy bear that weighs 5 pounds plus water weight and throw it
Right.
across the whole entire cemetery.
Well,
But we
what's
were
your
back
take
there by
on?
that grave.
Mhm.
But
Well,
um,
I was gonna ask, what is your take on the fact that they don't let anybody come in anymore?
so I understand it, and we've kind of like looked in there. We've gone in there. I ain't gonna lie. We've gone in there still. It's like a gap like this big, and
Yeah, you just
I'm
walked
a
right.
big body boy. Yeah, I'm a big body boy, and so is my friend Rob. And we just right in there. So, but
Yeah.
we just kind of like walk around. We don't do anything. We just kind of look. It says there's surveillance cameras, but there's no cameras. We looked everywhere. Um, but if the
I
police did
figured it
show
was a
up,
bluff.
if the police did show up, we would apologize deeply. And, if we had to give up our SD cards as evidence, we would leave. You
Yeah.
know, but we don't do anything. We even fix up the graves while we're there. But the thing that I find messed up about that place now, since the state took over it, or the city took over it, is they're moving gravestones around. They're tearing down trees. They're tearing up the bushes to try to make it look nicer.
Hmm.
And they're finding like gravestones that have been there forever. That there could be a body right there, and once they find it, they put it somewhere to make it look better. So yeah,
What?
there's a square of stone with mulch, and inside that is I think there's like 6 or 5 gravestones, and they're all dated different times, like different
Hmm.
dates and stuff like that and eras, and none of them match up. They're all different stone, and I've even seen a couple of them on different parts of the cemetery,
So
and they're there
weird.
now. So I'm like, they're moving them around, like that don't make any sense.
No.
So there's a huge tree in the front. I understand it was dead, but they're just slowly tearing it down.
Mm.
And I'm like, me being on like the energy of sides of things, like I carry my stones around, I carry my amethyst for grounding, my tourmaline for protection, my jade for luck, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um,
That's
I
good to hear.
highly believe in. Oh yeah, I highly believe in like sage and stuff like that. I even picked up this stuff. It's a sage spray.
Oh,
Try to see if
cool.
you can. Yeah,
I
so
didn't
it's
know that they made sage spray.
so it's the same thing as like the essential oils and
Okay.
stuff like that, but they do it with sage. And then on top of it, I found out that there's less holy water mixed into it, so you're getting the double
Wow.
layer of protection.
That
Yeah,
is
but we also
cool.
have
I'm gonna
like
have to look into
we
getting
also
me
have
some of that.
oh yeah, I found it actually on Amazon, to be completely honest. But then we have our
Everything you
traditional
get.
stage.
Hmm.
Yeah, then we have the traditional stage, the burning bowl and everything for it. So which is
Yeah,
just
we
so
have
crazy
the
that
sage, and we have
people.
the big clamshell and stuff like
Yeah,
that. We just we don't burn it often unless we feel that we've, made contact with something
yeah,
super negative, and then we'll, burn it over our equipment and stuff like that. But
yeah, and I mean, honestly, there's maybe been a couple of places that we've been to that's made us feel that way, and Indian Springs itself, no, but after we've done like the deprivation
mhm.
test in the Hewitt Mausoleum where we kind of blindfold ourselves, put the headphones on.
Oh, the
One
Estes,
of us sits
yes.
outside and asks questions.
Hmm.
That, which is also called the Estes method.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll be out there, and yeah, mine's always intense. Like I just feel like they love talking to me and just growling in my ears and stuff. But mine's always like blood, guts, horror, claws, stuff like that. Like
I
weird,
noticed
crazy
that. I
direct.
noticed that when you did the Estes in one of your videos. I think
Yeah,
you did like a part one and a part two, and you did one in part one, and your partner was in part two.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
noticed that the responses that you were getting were a little more intense than the ones that he was
yeah.
getting.
And I feel like if that became such a big video that people would probably be like, well, how do we know that's what they're saying? I wish I had the ability to do it and split recording and then overlap what I'm hearing
Yeah.
over what I'm saying too.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just not in the world at the moment.
They just got to trust us.
But
And I know
yeah,
that's hard to do because of how many
yeah,
people out there don't, they're not genuine and they're not
yeah,
honest. And then you
yeah.
got
And then
people like
honestly,
us
it's
who are, and people are doubting us. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it sucks because like I was like the stuff that I hear is completely honest and truthful. And I'm like, it creeps me out. Like the whole time I'm like shaking. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't even know half the. I said half of that. Like I black out sometimes. I'm just like,
Mm.
yep. Oh, I said that. Oh, that's weird. Oh, you heard that? That's weird. And
Yeah.
I don't remember saying half of that. Um, but that last time we did that, I was talking about like claws, running. Can you hear me? I'm coming for you, stuff like that. And
Mm.
my friend Rob, he was on the outside asking the question. I was on
Hmm.
the inside, and he said just in that tree line right there, he heard like it sounded like something was running through the tree line,
Always.
getting closer and closer. And I'm
Always.
just like, all right, you should have just tapped me on the shoulder. We could have packed up and got out.
You're talking about the tree line that lines that little dirt road right outside the mausoleum.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then
Oh
there's
my
that
God.
little
I
like
always hear
trench.
stuff.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it's so crazy right there.
It
But
is
and then of course there's the baby land right there. So
right
it's
across from
so
it.
intense right there. A lot of
Now,
energy right there because we
we're
get in, we're just like I feel it already.
what is your opinion, your personal opinion? I know that you saw the last live stream I did when we were there, and all those particles were coming at my camera. Did you
Yeah,
catch that one? Now,
I did see that.
some
I
people were
commented a
saying
few
it
times
was
on that.
fog. Okay, yeah, some people were saying it was fog. Some people were saying it was like particles from something burning because we could smell something burning in the air. It smelled like
Yeah,
wood, like a house or a cabin or something was on fire because it was really
yeah,
strong. But I personally feel, and this is just me, because of the way I
yeah,
felt, I felt like it was energy personally. And we were just hitting it in
yeah,
certain
and
sections of the cemetery. We would take a step forward and it would be gone, and we'd take a step
yeah,
backwards and it would be there again. I mean, if that was fog, wouldn't it be all over the place?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
what
No,
is your
and
opinion on that? Since you've been there so many times as well.
so like I said, there's things that you and John experience that me and Rob we don't really experience that, but there's things that we do that you don't, and it was just like
Right.
it's so crazy too because I was watching the video and I'm like, I noticed like little things floating through the air, and I'm like, okay,
It looked
all
like
right. Well, I mean,
snow.
New Year's is right there. It's getting colder out. Northern Florida is getting snow. Maybe we're getting a little bit of ice particles in the air. Um, and we were getting the fog for a little bit again. So I
Yeah,
was like, I was trying to rationalize it because a lot of times when you go into like an investigation, you have to have that kind of like skeptical almost mindset. Like, did I just
exactly.
really see that? Is there someone around the corner? Do they have a flashlight? Stuff like that. Like, so you kind of have to go into it with a skeptical mindset,
Exactly.
um, and debunk it. And then if you can't, you kind of like take note of it and then keep going back and, you know, but from what I saw, it looked like mist. It looked like heavy fog. And I've been up north and more central and stuff. And I've seen different kinds of fog. I've seen thick fog where you can't see 2 feet in front of your own face.
Right.
I've seen stuff that just it's so dense that it's just like you can see the particles just floating at you. And the other thing I was thinking was like we were having like where I live more in like the Clearwater, Tampa area. We were getting a lot of like fireworks still, even up to like 4 or 5 days after New Year's.
Yeah.
So I was like, someone went out and bought about $1,000 worth of fireworks. So I'm seeing like the the smoke from it. I'm smelling the burning of the fireworks, sulfur and stuff like that. So, and on top of it, we have so many houses that just catch fire because of fireworks, because of storms, that it's just,
So it's just really hard to say, like, what it could have been. Oh, boop. I love StreamYard. Hey, PLE, how's it going? I don't know if anybody else had came in. HGA Soldier, how's it going? Let's see, Tennessee Paranormal Sam, Don James. Hey, guys. Here we go. Okay.
That was crazy again. But
That's okay.
But yeah, there was literally like a house that was like, I think it was about 2 neighborhoods away from me that their house caught on fire. I think it was during the New Year's, or it was like a storm came through, and that was very recently too. And I didn't even know what happened. But I just kept seeing smoke and all that. But yeah, there's so many different scenarios that could go down, and I'm just like, oh yeah. But then it's like following you throughout the whole entire cemetery, and I'm like, well, fog doesn't follow somebody. I mean, It's either everywhere or
it just
it's
spreads
in one
out
section.
everywhere. Right.
Yeah, because yours was literally following you, and then it made me think of this movie called The Mist, where these like alien creatures live in the mist and they're attacking whoever goes into it. And I was just like, no, I'm not about that. So
I haven't seen that one, but all I could think of was the second Hunger Games movie, where they were being chased by the mist or the fog, and that's all I could think of.
When they turn the clock, and every hour a different section would get a different kind of like almost like a plague.
Exactly.
And there was the one with the mist, that like poisoned them. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, because we would be walking, and then we'd be in a section where there was none, no mist, no particles, and we're like, okay, it's gone. But then all of a sudden you see it rolling in, and it starts going in front of my camera. So we walk away, it's gone again. And then all of a sudden here it comes rolling in. So it was like, it was literally following us.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. So I was watching and I was like, there's nothing. And then a couple of minutes later, oh, there it is again. Then you'd walk another 10, 20 feet probably, and you turned around and you're like, it's flying right at me. So I'm just like, oh.
It got to the point to where I couldn't even see where I was going, because I mean, I could see in front of me, like with the naked eye, but if I was looking at my camera screen while I was walking, I couldn't see anything because it was so thick.
The light probably from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that was crazy. And then I don't know where the other cemetery you went to was, but it was the one where I mentioned you were doing a live stream. I mentioned about the 3 trees. If there's 3 trees like right next to each other like that.
That was where was that? I think that was. You
didn't want to mention it because you were doing I know you didn't want to mention it in the live. That's smart.
Because it was Reslawn.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
your mom was with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm surprised that you guys actually haven't hit that one up, and I recommend that you do, because that is actually on the very top of Southwest Florida's most haunted places. Is Reslawn Cemetery? It's like in the #1 slot.
Is that like Chuck Taylor one or something like that?
Yes. Yeah, Chuck Taylor is actually buried in the mausoleum. Mm-hmm. And
that's cool.
We brought my portal box.
But it's not open, I know.
Yeah, no, you can't get in. But we brought my portal box there one time, and we did a session. We hooked the SB7 to the portal box, and we did a session right outside of the mausoleum that he was in. And I don't know if you've seen that video, but you could legit hear like the basketball dribbling and the sneakers squeaking on the floor and what sounds like
That's
baskets
cool.
being made, and it was insane. So we went back
That's awesome.
to try and see if we could contact him again, and we were getting a little bit, but it wasn't as much as the first time. And ever since then, we haven't been able to get any type of activity like that again. It was just like that one time.
That's
But
cool though.
the woman in white. So back in the late 1800s, before that was a cemetery, it used to be farmland that belonged to the people who actually built the very first house ever in Port Charlotte, Florida. And
Okay.
eventually, I don't know, they had to have gotten into an altercation or something, and he murdered his wife on that property, and he buried her on that property. And
What?
yeah, so I guess she was later found. I don't know if they were investigating it or what, but she was later found, and they dug up her body. And ever since then, people have been experiencing, like seeing an apparition of a woman dressed in white, like a white dress from head to toe. And they, oddly enough, turned it into a cemetery, which is really weird to me. So my husband and I actually, we think we caught it. I think it's like the 4th or 5th video ever that I ever did that's on my channel, and it's still up there to this day. We're walking down the path, like heading towards the back, and we see like a white figure, like standing there. It wasn't moving or anything, and it wasn't like transparent. It was kind of solid, you know. So we're just walking, and then all of a sudden it just goes away, like it just disappeared. So we're hoping that was the woman in white. But over in the section where we seen her is where we literally ran out of there because we were getting like evil laughs over the spirit box and the really strong sulfur smell. We were seeing like shadows move along the tree back there, which has the three trunks. Hey, Vinny, how's it going? Again, guys, I'm so sorry if you're coming in and I'm not saying hi. Welcome, welcome.
It did it, and it cut you out like right then and there at the.
Yeah, it's got to be something with StreamYard. I swear to God. I mean, I like StreamYard, but I prefer to use YouTube Live. But YouTube Live doesn't allow you to have people on panel with you. So I think that's something that they need to change.
Definitely,
but,
There's a lot of things with YouTube.
That is the cemetery that you were mentioning about with the three trees, and that one of the trees that was in the back where we caught the apparition was the tree that we kept seeing the shadows and stuff moving across, and it literally scared us. Like we almost ran out of there. We got in the truck and we left. But again, that is in Port Charlotte. And if you guys, obviously you said you haven't been there before, so I recommend that you definitely go there. I think you guys will really like that place. You get a lot of evidence.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely want to check that one out. That's going to be added to our list for sure, because there was just so much stuff that you guys seen. I was just like, all right, I could see why you would probably see that. And it was funny too, because I remember just telling you about, I didn't hear the part where you said you saw something by those 3 trees, but I remember telling you that 3 trees in kind of like a circular 3-point position is like it's the 3 powers, you know, the earth, water, and wind, the 3 natural powers.
Okay.
And it's funny to reference it, but the show Charmed, the 3 sisters, you know, Earth.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a big thing. I was just like, I used to watch it avidly. I was like, I remember going over a friend's house, and I would stay the night, and I'd like get up early in the morning, so I was always an early person. And I walk out, and his mom would be out on the couch like watching. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch this with you. So I was like, this is interesting. I was always into like the supernatural as it was, and I was like, it made me even more intrigued that she was. And I was like, all right, so are you a Shannon Dorothy fan, or are you an Alyssa Milano fan? Because they're usually just those 2.
Yeah.
But I can, that show I can literally recite episode by episode.
Oh wow! But, so you're definitely a fan.
It was the whole like witching thing, you know. I was like, there's so many people that were like into like basketball and football, and I played sports, and I was just like, at the same time, like I had such a huge supernatural background. Like I got family members in stuff like that, or people I considered that were so family I've known in my whole life, and they did
Yeah.
paranormal investigation. So I was just like, all right, it's pretty
So
much there already.
do you have like are you sensitive, like more sensitive, and does that like run in your family? Oh, gotta love StreamYard, guys. Gotta love StreamYard. That's why YouTube moderators, not my moderators, but YouTube moderators, because I don't know if y'all know, but all YouTube videos and YouTube live streams are watched by a YouTube moderator. So YouTube moderators are probably watching this, or they're going to be. So y'all need to update your live things so that we can have people on panel. We don't got to go through this third party stuff, because this happens to me sometimes too.
I'm gonna try a different kind of headphone now, just to see,
Okay.
because I hear it through my Bluetooth headphones before I hear it through anything else. And I
Okay.
was wondering if maybe like the Bluetooth is cutting it out too.
Oh,
But
that could be. That's possible.
yeah,
I didn't even
I
think of
don't want to
that.
be like what ruins the live stream.
No, it's
So
all good. Like I said, it happens to me sometimes too. I'm surprised it hasn't happened to me because, and I
yeah.
can't even believe that it's been 46 minutes. It doesn't even feel like it. But
Oh
usually
yeah,
when I'm
no.
on StreamYard for like 30, 40 minutes, it just cuts right out on me. So I'm
Yeah, it's like that. Oh, by the way, you've
knock
been
on
in here
wood.
for a half an hour. I got
Yeah.
wood real
But
knocking a
yeah,
lot of wood.
so again,
So,
Restaurant
well,
Cemetery, definitely check that one out. I would love to
yeah.
see you guys do a video there.
Oh yeah, it's definitely added to the list for sure. This because we usually do like a investigations on like Mondays and Tuesdays,
Hmm.
because I have Mondays and Tuesdays off, and my friend, I even though he works, we like to do night investigations.
Hmm.
Energies are higher. You're getting more into like the witching hour, which is between 12 and 3:33,
Right.
uh, which is supposed to be like, I guess like the witching hour is called that because it's when the majority of the world is asleep, and if you're asleep, you can't pray. So prayer is at its weakest. So that's when everything
Oh.
else that's against prayer comes out to play.
That's a
You know?
very interesting theory. I've never heard that.
Yeah. So
I always
Halloween.
heard that that was when the moon was at its highest, making the veil thinner.
Now
That's
there's
what I
that
always,
too.
yeah.
There's so many different things. Like that could be it. It could be both. Um, I like the idea of it at the same time. I don't know, witching hour. Like it was Charmed. It's back to that full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's yeah, there's that. But yeah, like you were asking, I like to say I'm sensitive.
Okay.
I feel things, and a lot of times like we were walking up to, it was funny too. We were walking up to the Hamilton jailhouse in Jasper,
Hmm.
which is the first event we ever did with PKC. And
Oh, cool. I think I seen that video.
yeah, it's one
Yeah.
of our first like big videos because we traveled really far to get to this one.
Hmm.
It was the first event that we did with them, and it's an overnight stay in the jailhouse. The history behind that is that it had, I think it was the first or last recorded hanging in northern Florida,
Oh,
was
wow.
done there. There was a college group that had gone there and used ground penetrating sonar and
Hmm.
found 86 anomalies,
Ooh.
which could be bodies.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of old like kind of like farming tools, like pull track, the pull hitches I think they're called, or the things that you pull and then it like makes like the grooves in the soil. There's a lot of old things like that. Um, a lot of like old mechanical parts, like waters and stuff like for water. Yeah, so there's all that stuff there, and it's all lined around the outside of the place. There's a lot of old buildings there. It's an old town all on its own,
Hmm.
and the Swanee River goes right by it. So,
Now, is that up near the Tampa Bay area?
no, that's actually northern Florida. It's really central. It's like, it's you go another 35 minutes north, you're in Georgia.
Okay. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so you're at
Okay.
that Florida Georgia line, and but yeah, it's a great place to go to. Honestly, there's another event next month on the 26th.
Oh.
And if I could, I would go to both of them. 2 months in a row because it's just so much fun there, and we catch so much stuff at that place.
Now,
So much
can you go in
experiences.
and do like a private tour, or they just do like the group tours?
Now they do offer private tours. Of course, it's a good amount. It's the money goes to it and donations and pretty much for the foundation of the place because it's a historical place. And
Yeah.
then there's some that's donated to the actual like cancer research development stuff. So there's that. But they did offer us one time to go into, I think it was the Ritchie Theater. But I mean, I wouldn't suppose they, could find a way to get you in there and stuff and do that, or get somebody in there and do that.
That would be
They've
cool.
they offered us like literally the next day, the next morning, we went out to eat
Mhm.
with them, got breakfast and everything, and we chit chatted, and
Wow,
they
that is
really like,
cool.
liked us. So it was cool. Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
never been like so enveloped into the fold like that, like so quick after meeting somebody. I was just like, well, they obviously like us. And I was like,
That's
and then we just hit
that's
it off from
cool.
there. Yeah. The next event was the Ritchie Theater, where we actually met Scott Tepperman, who was
Okay.
one of the crew from what was it, Ghost Hunters International.
Okay.
So he was
I
one
think
of
I know who
them.
you're talking about. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, he had like the shorter, almost like crew cut style black
Mm.
hair. Yeah, he was cool. His character, like I like the way he pretty much went into everything with like, all right, well, it could be this or it could be that, but let's try to figure this out. It's
Yeah,
like we
which is
have all
always
this
good.
equipment, let's use it. And he brought this whole side to the show and stuff like that. Like you don't see on camera. You just see, oh, we caught this. We didn't catch that. I might have caught something here, but you don't see like what they go through, the travel, the like, oh, we just did something. Now we have to go 3 weeks with the same clothes. We haven't seen our family. We have to somehow find a
All
way
the
to wash our
behind the
clothes
scenes.
and then
Yeah.
make it here now in 2 weeks to shoot and do it in 3 days when it could,
Wow.
yeah. And they had to
It's a lot
climb
of work.
things.
A lot of people don't
Yeah.
realize how much work goes
Oh
into,
yeah.
especially for people like them, but for,
Oh
paranormal
yeah.
adventurers or investigators, just period.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
work and it's
Eh,
costly. It is so
Oh yeah.
costly.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, he even said it's like you have like an allowance and stuff like that, pretty much, like how much you can spend. But if they went over, they were kind of forgiven for it. But it was just like, I was like, that's crazy. That's insane. Like I would still love to do it because it's the
Yeah.
experience. And he even said the same thing.
Right.
He's like, I would still do it. I would never turn it down if I could go back. But at the same time, it was insane.
Part of the
But
adventure, right?
oh yeah, it's the sacrifices you make.
Hmm.
But now he's actually directing and producing movies.
Oh,
So
cool.
and he acts in them and stuff too. And he goes, he's like, I'm so far from the paranormal investigations and stuff that he goes, when he walks into a place, like when he walked into the Ritchie Theater, he doesn't see, oh, so I need to set up a camera here to catch a ghost. He doesn't see that now. He sees prospects for future movies to be shot. Like maybe that could be a zombie apocalypse, and they're like, they find this theater and the door is slightly open and they get in, they blockade the door to the theater, and like now they have to hide out in this theater or something. And I'm like, that's still really cool.
That is
And
really
if you ever
cool.
need someone in the background, I'd play a dang good zombie. So
Like scouting out locations while
yeah,
doing paranormal
yeah,
investigations and
oh
things. That
yeah,
is
and
cool.
he still does appearances too. Like, so I was like, that's really cool. The people that PKC, Chris and Alex, they're awesome. They're great people. They're very honest, and they joke around too, and it's like it's awesome.
Hmm.
Um, but they they were featured on a magazine. I can't remember the name of it. Like I said, I was planning on using my laptop to stream and then have the phone to be able to look up these things, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, now I'm afraid to even touch the phone and it just cuts us out again or something.
See, that's me. I
But
have to use my phone to stream because my laptop's
yeah.
actually behind me, but it's
Oh,
so much
okay.
easier on my phone, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm finding it easier. I'm just trying to figure out about the whole cutting out thing. If it's, StreamYard, or if it's my phone, or if it's,
Well,
Bluetooth
since you
and
switched
stuff. But
over, I
yeah.
don't think you cut out yet, did you?
Yeah.
So yeah, so far so good.
I mean, it's been a good 10 minutes now. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
44 or something like after.
Yeah.
So
So
maybe
it
it was
might
the
have been. It
headphones.
might have been your Bluetooth.
So I hate you now, but I like you when I work out. So I'll keep you around. So
So, like,
yeah.
what do you guys have planned for the future? Like, do you guys have
Right
any
now,
specific plans
specifically,
for your
we're
channel
hitting
and
an
for investigations?
investigations. Like I said, we want to get some more equipment. Right now,
Mm-hmm.
I still have the very first camera we bought, and we were
Mm-hmm.
using that all the way up until literally 2 weeks ago. So
Oh, okay.
it's been a good camera. It's very easy. You plug it in, boom, 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 plug it into the computer, and you upload.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I had just actually gone out, got a whole new oh, there we go. That came out. Put the mic back in. Get back in there. Technical difficulties.
We could still hear you, just not as good.
Yes. Yeah. So then I had this new carrier pack. So like, I just got this. But it holds both of our cameras in there. And
Oh,
this
cool.
one is this one is the original.
Okay.
You can see that. Here, I can illuminate all of this even better with all of my lighting that I use,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is all waterproof and submersible. Hey, how's it
That was
going,
my
man?
husband.
How you doing, John?
I said, "How you
Yeah.
doing?"
Yeah. So this is
Yeah,
blindingly light.
I think John has the same camera if I'm looking at it correctly.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't want to show the light to you. You get blind through the camera, but yeah. It's
Oh,
pretty much
okay,
like
yeah.
that. It has a screw on back right here.
Mhm.
You unscrew that and you can get to the actual power port and everything. But I got this. It has like 3 different settings. It gets brighter than what I just had on, and then it does the SOS.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah,
That's
so there's
awesome.
that.
And when you're
So
out in a cemetery in the dark, the brighter the better.
exactly. I mean, we do have IR. So we do have like the infrared and stuff like that. So I can do night vision, but I have this, camera, and
Mhm.
then that has a huge battery on it, and it lasts a good long time, and they give you 2. So there's
Right.
that. And then the newer camera I got, there's this one,
Oh, cool.
and it's a little bit smaller, it's lighter,
That's
and the
yeah.
battery is also a little bit smaller too.
That's
But
cool.
it has a flashlight right there on the fold out.
Oh, wow. I see
And
it.
instead of like the IR light on the other one
I
is
didn't
right
know that
there
they
on the
did
fold
that.
out. Yeah, so there's some that are like that. Some of them I guess are there's like a lot of like really generic cameras I found. And if you look at the reviews, people even say like it's not as good quality as they say. Like this is a 4K Ultra HD.
Right.
It connects to Wi-Fi, so I don't even have to have a cord connected to it to load video onto my computer. I can
Right.
literally just connect through Wi-Fi and
That
then
is so
load it right
cool.
on. So there's that. The light's right there on the cover.
Yeah,
The
I like
IR
that.
light is right there where the camera is, where I had a problem with the other one because the IR light is on here.
Mm.
And I'll have it open and it casts a shadow, which even though IR
Oh.
light's not supposed to cast shadow, but
Mhm.
it is what it is. But then on top of that, I also have an IR light right here too.
Oh, okay. That's
So that
cool.
sits so that sits on there with the hot shoe. I have this 3 hot shoe bracket right here.
Mhm.
Okay, let me turn that off then. All right, so there's a 3 hot shoe bracket right here. So I can put
Mhm.
my boom mic in the middle, the IR light here, my lighting
Oh,
here,
yeah.
and I can even fit something here. There's a hot
Right.
shoe right here I can put on. Like I can literally just stack lights
You
and
can
IR
like
lights on this whole
stick like
thing.
a face light or something on top of there.
Yeah. I can
That's
stack a whole
cool.
nother camera facing me, so I can get the 2 different POVs.
I love
Um,
doing that. I
yeah, like
love doing that.
once I thought about that, I was like, I have so many GoPros, like it's ridiculous. So like when we go to the Jasper jailhouse, they said there was a hallway, and you pick a cell and you sleep on the bunks in the cell, and I was just like, this
What?
is dope. I'm already
Like
set. We
that's
got
where you
there,
sleep for the night?
yeah. in the bunks in the cells. Yeah.
Oh my
Oh yeah.
gosh.
So I have all this like camping gear and stuff, and I'm just like, all right, I got like inflatable mattress pads, I got I got sleeping bags, I got sleeping pillows that inflate, or I can just bring a regular pillow. I have
Oh,
all this
you're all
stuff. I'm like,
set.
oh yeah. I loved going camping, so I was just like, I already have all this stuff. I'm like, I don't even need to go out and buy stuff. I'm like, there we go.
Yeah, that
So
is awesome. I definitely want to check that place out. And you said that's up
oh yeah.
in northern Florida, right?
Yeah, it's Jasper, Florida is the town, and it's Hamilton
Jasper.
Jailhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then if you look it up too, 15 minutes north from there, it's 15 minutes north. There's the Swanee River Bridge. It's an abandoned bridge.
I think I've heard of that.
It's graffitied from like head to toe.
Yes. Okay.
But it
Yeah.
looks beautiful. It's like of course there's like profane things, like you're gonna see a phallus or two. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean that goes with graffiti, you
I
know.
think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Omar Gosh TV, I think he
Yes,
filmed there.
yes, and it was funny too because we were up there and we are like, there's got to be something up here. Let's look it up, and we found that. And I was like, we need to go there because I know I've seen this before. And then literally because Facebook stalks everybody,
Yeah,
because I was
definitely.
connected to his Facebook account, it pulled his video up of when he went there, and I was like,
Oh,
Facebook, leave me alone.
yeah.
First off, second off, that's dope. I didn't realize he went here, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. Oh, it's so
That's where I've
awesome.
heard of it, was, yeah, his video, and it was only like what, maybe a year ago or something, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he had been there, and it's beautiful. Like we were there. I did a live stream because our AR Paranormal is Facebook, YouTube,
Hmm.
and TikTok so far.
Okay.
We would like to spread further and go with like Instagram, but we're already like over it as we as we are right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's
But
overwhelming when you got, plugs everywhere.
oh yeah, once you start streaming on everything, and you're like, oh cool, wait, I'm on Instagram. I thought I was on Twitter.
And then you got to try and keep up with it all. That's what I do. I'm
Exactly.
mostly on. And then there's Parapost. Have you ever heard of Parapost?
It sounds familiar. What's that?
It's a social media thing. It's basically set up just like Facebook, like as far as its
Okay.
navigation and stuff.
Yeah.
But a couple of friends of mine I know that operate it, and
Yeah.
they're coming a long ways with it. Like, for example, if if you have a profile on there or whatever, you can link your YouTube to your Parapost account. So every time you upload a video on YouTube, it automatically uploads to your Parapost.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
there's just so many people that are joining. It's becoming pretty big. And I believe it's parapost.net. I can send you the link when we're done with the
Okay.
live, but
Yeah, that'd
definitely
be
sign
cool.
up for that because it's all paranormal. It's social media that focuses on nothing but the paranormal.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, because on
So,
Facebook, I just started joining a bunch of like groups that had the same kind of tag, like anything paranormal, abandoned, old, historical, stuff like that. I just wanted
yes.
to find anything, so I joined a bunch of groups.
Hmm.
I think that's also how we found one of your videos was in the
I
Hauntings
think
of Florida
so.
group. I think it
I
was.
think so, yes.
Yeah, I think I saw you post a video on there. I was like, oh, who's this? Click. Oh, that's cool. And then we watched your Indian Springs one, and we're like, we got to go there. So that's cool. But
Yeah. That's
but
one of the
yeah,
best
no,
things that you
it's
can do,
yeah.
especially when you're just starting out,
Oh yeah,
is to just join a whole bunch of, relevant groups on Facebook, in our
yeah,
case, paranormal. And the
yeah,
majority of them will allow you to post to the group. So
yeah, yeah,
whenever I put up a new video, I would post it to all the groups I could. And
yeah.
it helps out a lot. It gives you like that boost to get you going.
Now I had a question because I think you're in the same group too. How do you feel about? I think you've seen them. I think did you like one of them? I think it was something like that. There's a group that I think we're both in, and we both post in it. And there's a lot of posts in there from like people going, oh, "I caught a orb. Oh, I caught this and I caught that," and like the sun's in the background, and it's like an
Yeah.
obvious lens flare, and it's
Yeah.
like there's this thing in the back of my head that's just like, say something, don't say something, don't say it. It.
Sometimes I bite my tongue and sometimes I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so obvious that it's a lens flare. I'm like, have you never seen a lens flare before? And I'm like,
Especially people who have iPhones.
Yeah,
Because you always
exactly.
have that little blue dot, and everybody
There's
thinks that it's an
always.
orb, and it's like, that's your
Yeah.
iPhone. It's not an orb, and
Yeah.
they'll get so offended, and it's like,
Yeah.
I understand that you had high hopes
Yeah.
that
Now
that is something paranormal, but don't get so offended. We're trying to tell you that
yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
it is, or
I'm like, I was telling one person, I was like, I do this. Like, I do
yeah,
paranormal investigations. Like, like, let me know where you found this. I'll go and try to see if I can get evidence too. That'd be cool.
hmm
Or, it could be a lens flare. And I was like, and the person kept saying, oh, I think I caught a fairy. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, try to go catch it again.
right,
See if it shows up again. This time, do it at night with the light behind your camera, not in front of it or facing it. And let me know if you catch it again. Like,
yeah,
that's cool. Or the video. There was one where it was like the Ring camera, the doorbell cameras, and there's like
okay,
a wasp like buzzing around the camera.
yeah.
They're
I've
like, oh,
seen
I found
those
this
too.
shadow, and I'm like, oh,
I've seen those too. And then they have the ones where, the doorbell cams where they swear that like shadow walk across their yard or their sidewalk, but you can clearly see that it was
yeah,
like headlights that was turning the
yeah,
corner, like, a few houses
yeah.
away from their house
And
or
it hit
something.
their
And
hit their like mailbox or something or a
yeah,
bush
just like a
at the
reflection. And
edge.
they're like,
Yeah.
no, it's not. And they'll argue with you. Like they'll
Yeah.
argue.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's not just the person that posted that'll argue too. There's so many people that are so like-minded with that person that make the same post. They'll start
Yeah.
arguing with you, and I'm like, I'll just delete my comment and walk
Yep.
away.
Yep. Yep.
Like
Because
I
you
don't
don't want it to
even.
escalate. You're like, okay, I can see where
Yeah.
this is going.
Yeah. I was like, maybe I left too big of a comment. And they didn't. And like even one person replied to my comment was like, that was too long of a comment for me to even bother reading, but you're a jerk. And I was like, you didn't even read it. How do you know what I said? How do you know I'm
Right.
a jerk? I was like, you
Right.
just see like the other 8-word comments that people replied to me and made your own analysis that I'm a jerk apparently. But
Oh
whatever.
my
I don't care.
gosh. You gotta love people
But
like that.
yeah, but that's like the whole, world of, paranormal and stuff like that. Like if you just go into it immediately believing that you caught something without trying to catch any kind of evidence,
Right.
if that person took the picture and saw this fairy, or orb, if they turned around and took the picture and didn't see it, or if they, got closer or try to like actually enhance maybe the picture in
hmm
certain ways, that's trying to get evidence to prove that what you saw was actually what you saw. But there's so many
Exactly.
people that don't do that,
So many
and
people run right to,
yeah, and it's
spirit,
cool.
fairy,
Like
orb.
yeah, and then it's cool at the same time. Like in this time of age, like what we're going through right now with the pandemic, everyone just wants to believe in something, and
Yeah.
that's awesome. I get it. I like that too. But then be optimistic about if someone actually does that, as a
hmm
hobby,
Yep.
like, oh yeah, okay,
I mean,
cool.
you would
But
know
like
you run into that kind of thing all the time.
all the time. I'm
So,
like, there's so many times I'll turn a corner and I'll forget I put a light there facing down the adjacent way of the hallway with a GoPro. And I'm like,
yeah.
is that oh no, that's my light.
hmm
Never mind.
We sometimes do that too because we'll set up like our camera and a
Yeah.
light like up on one of the benches down there
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
hallway. And then we'll like come back around and we'll be like, oh my God, is that a shadow? And we're like, oh wait, no,
yeah.
that's our light.
Yeah. And I was gonna say like on my backpack, I have so much lighting, it's ridiculous that
hmm
and then we actually went out and we had one of these, but I went out and I bought more.
Oh, cat balls. Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I have 3 cat balls
See,
now,
and
and
those are pretty accurate because I
yeah.
mean, they go off easily, but not so easily.
Yeah,
Like
like
you
the
literally
ones.
have to really like grab it in order for it to go off. It doesn't
Yeah,
just go
the
off by walking by it or anything like that.
exactly. The ones that we got, oh my God, I was like stomping on the ground where like the table was. Like we really had to shake the table and make them move from the
hmm
finally started to go off, and I'm like, all right, I think we got the good ones.
Yeah. So, I mean,
But
if it goes off during an investigation, you know that that's
yeah.
definitely
Oh
most
yeah.
likely, or anyway, something.
Yeah, so that's crazy all on its own. But like we have those, like I said, we have the K2 meter, which I looked it up where I got the K2 meter from, where it was made and sent out from was St. Augustine. So when we
Oh.
went to St. Augustine, I was like, I'm bringing you back home. I'm like, you're going back home, just a visit. You're coming back with me. You're not staying.
Oh my
But
gosh.
you're going back home. It was crazy.
We're
My
actually
friend Rob's
going to
like,
St. Augustine next month, and I'm so excited.
oh,
My
okay,
husband
that's
and I,
cool.
yeah.
So yeah, this whole weekend that we have planned out is the overnight stay. It starts tomorrow.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, so it's tomorrow, and we do the overnight. Wake up the next morning. You know, we just walked. We woke up late. Everyone had already gone. We were like, today we're gonna sleep in.
Yeah.
Walked out, talked with the people that hosted the whole thing, and went and got breakfast with them, and it just we were in the fold. It was just became from there. But we were talking about maybe what we caught. They offered us another night. We wanted to go see the bridge and think about it. We said we would come back. We ended up saying like, no, we'll do it maybe another time. And this is the other time. So, um,
Oh, you must be
but we're gonna.
excited.
Oh, it's when I go to a place that like I actually really liked immediately, I
Hmm.
love it. And that's what I was gonna say earlier was I was walking up to the place and no one was there yet. We were literally just walking up to take a kind of like a thumbnail picture pretty much of the place.
Hmm.
And as I'm walking up, I look up and in one of the windows, it literally there was a woman there with like long flowing hair and like an older like almost like Victorian looking dress.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, okay, but I couldn't identify the face. It was kind of blurred out. So I was just like, okay. And it was like, I looked down, I looked back up, and she was gone. Not even like maybe 30 minutes later, another two people show up, and it was two women. And one of them literally walked up and goes, is there someone upstairs? And then we were like, no, it's just us four. We're down here. And she goes, well, there was like a woman in a dress upstairs.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, that's crazy. You say that, because yeah,
So yeah, she
I
was
saw
she
that when
was
I walked
showing
up
herself
too.
to everybody then.
Oh yeah, and I was taking buku pictures. I was just like, all right, well I'm going back outside,
And this is
trying
the
to
same
catch
place that you're
something.
going to tomorrow, correct?
Same place, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
I hope you catch her like on camera or
Oh,
something. That would be kick
I'm gonna catch her
ass.
and never let her go. I'm gonna
Right?
carry her with me. That she looked great. But but it was no, it was crazy because I would love to go. I love going to places like this now. I'm just like, oh man, an overnight stay sounds so great, and they offer food, drinks. They offer things right out of their own pocket, pretty much.
You can't
You
beat
know,
that.
just to make the experience even better. The one guy, Chris, he's been doing this for over a decade. He
Hmm.
has, I think he said close to like $58,000 worth of equipment. Yeah, like
Wow.
everything you would want, everything I would want, he has like maybe 10 of it.
The dream kit.
So, oh my God, he has things that were like specifically made. Like I don't know if you ever heard of the web page. It's called Ghost Stop.
No, I don't think so.
You can get custom made ghost hunting equipment from them.
Oh,
And yeah, so there's the heat it was like the heat signature grids where it shoots the
okay.
lasers, but
Hmm.
at the same time, if something walks across it on the actual device itself, once it's all stabilized and stuff, there's little tiny LED lights and it will show you like a figure of what's walking through the
Oh,
grid on the
oh.
device itself too. So not only will like you'll see like the difference in the transfers of the little dots from the
Hmm.
lasers, you'll see it on the device too.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so that's cool. He has an SLS
Do
camera.
me a favor and send me the link to that site.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like he has an SLS camera he set up himself. There's multi the full spectrum cameras on that uh Ghost Stop page
Hmm.
where they do it's GoPros that the guy took the original lens out and put the IR lens in and put an IR light on the side of it. So it's a GoPro you can set up in different corners to get different angles,
Oh,
and they do
wow.
multi-spectrum, so it makes it even easier. So like regular camera can catch shadow. IR
Right.
lighting can catch some shadows, but not all shadows. It's got to be like really casted by natural lighting. But
Hmm.
the full spectrum ones, if it's a shadow, it's a spirit.
Right.
Like it's almost guaranteed because it
That is so
yeah
cool.
it negates all the natural like lighting and stuff and just pulls its own lighting in.
And he does
So
like he does like
yeah,
custom equipment.
there's
Like
like
if you come up with something in your head that you want like this combined with that, like he'll make it.
now I was told that, but I'm not exactly sure. if that was just a one-time deal for one person or maybe a couple. But yeah, there's a lot of things like it's just, I don't know, it's so cool. So I was finding the
Oh,
website.
HGA Soldier. I'm gonna assume that that's
That's
Rob.
Rob, yeah.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much. He put the link in the chat.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks, Rob. Um, but yeah, so they make the equipment there. They have their own pretty much like a K2 meter, and it's called a Rook, and it's like
Okay.
super sensitive.
Hmm.
Like super sensitive. Like we borrowed it when we went to this one cemetery called the Rose Cemetery. It's right there in Tarpon Springs, Florida.
Hmm.
And
I've heard of it. I haven't been there, but a friend of mine has actually been there.
it's legit. Like we were there and it was pretty, like, it was cool. Like he's caught something there. Like he was on one side, I guess, of the cemetery. The other person was on the other, and the person that he was with, if I'm remembering the story right, felt something touch his shoulder. And he
Mm.
asked, like, who was that touched my friend's shoulder? Or the other person, who touched my shoulder? And on the other side, they were recording, and it said, like, I touched his shoulder, or like a full
Ooh.
sentence. And I was just like, okay, so I hope we catch that.
Confirming that, yeah.
Yeah, there was one grave that had a wine bottle near it, and it's like, oh, do you like to drink wine? And the SB11 literally goes, I like, and then wine or something like that, or wine. If Rob's in the comments, then he could probably verify that one, because
Oh,
he caught it on
wow.
his phone, and that was intense.
Oh,
All
wow.
on
Is
his
that
phone. So
now,
I
is
was
that in
like,
one of your videos or
yeah, that's in the Rose Cemetery video,
the
which
Rose
was
Cemetery? Okay.
probably 3 or 4 videos ago. 5 videos
Mm-hmm.
ago, something like that. But
Okay.
but yeah, I know we went to the Indian Spring Cemetery, and then we went somewhere else, another cemetery. Oh yeah, this one that we kind of found. It's right here in the Anclote area, the Holiday, Florida area.
Okay.
It's just hidden. It's literally in the middle of the city of Holiday, and
Hmm.
it's old. It's like, I think if Rob's in the comments again, he can comment and tell me exactly what it was, because he's the one that looked it up, or usually I look it up. So I was using the SB11. 2 voices came through. Yeah. Um. So it was crazy. We go there the first time we went there, which actually that was the first place we went to, and we posted a full length video where I
Okay.
could finally edit and all that stuff, and I found a good program to do so. So that was the first video we edited, and when we were there's a story of like a homeless person spirit that kind of smells like decayed flesh, and we didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know anything about this place. We just kind of stumbled upon it because someone said something about it. We went there, and we immediately, like, once we got to one of the corners, we smelt like something smelled like it was dead, and I was like, we saw like what was it, like a bunch of trash in the corner and stuff, so we kind of assumed like something might have just died over there. But then
Right.
when the second time we went, we actually looked it up, and there's a spirit that, yeah. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's crazy. And even funnier too, my mom's side, she's Greek, and there's a bunch of Greek people that are buried there. And I was like, well, Tarpon's like literally right there, and that's like the Greek epicenter of
Right.
Florida. So everyone there
Right.
is Greek.
Cemetery
And
was
I
made
was
in the
like,
early 1900s, but Accolade has been around since the 1500s.
yeah, yeah, there you go,
Wow.
Rob. Thank you.
I didn't even realize that anybody inhabited Florida in the 1500s.
It like my grandmother on my dad's side would have said, because she was down here for the longest time. It's all trees and dirt roads,
Yeah. And
and
orange groves.
yeah, and orange groves, yeah. And I was like, well, there was a cemetery.
Wow. That is
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah. I was like, that's it. When we found the place, it was insane, and it's like bring a deep wood off spray too, because it's like there's a bunch of water on one whole side of it, and it's just all mosquitoes. So
Right?
we
Oh my
got
God,
we got.
mosquitoes love me.
Oh yeah,
They say that
that's
all
the
of the Anklet is essentially an Indian burial ground. Oh, cool.
yes. That's another thing. There was a bunch of the Anclo River Park, I think they call it now. Growing up, I always knew it as Anclo Beach. There's an Indian burial mound there where there is Native Americans buried there, and it's like a protected area. But then I have found out that there's so many of them all throughout this whole town. So
Right.
they're everywhere.
Wow.
So, I mean,
Kenneth wants to know if you or I have ever gotten hurt during an investigation. I personally have not.
I've never gotten hurt. The story I was going to say about the Spring Hill Cemetery was when we were there fixing up a grave, someone had shown up with his girlfriend, which we already thought was weird because he was like, we had our first kiss at this cemetery. I proposed to her, stuff like that at that cemetery. I was like, I mean, that's cool. I know people that have met during like paranormal investigation events and they're
Right.
getting married soon, stuff like that.
That is cool.
So I could see that, but they show up as we're in the very back of the place, and I know you've known it. I don't know if you've been there during the night where there's like no lights except for whatever you bring with you.
Right.
So it's dark, and you could see the headlights coming in, and we're like, "Oh, it's the police. We're caught. All right,
We're busted.
all right." So we'll walk up there, but we turn off our lights because I noticed that it didn't look like police officer headlights.
Right.
Like the traditional car headlights that they have, and I was like, that looks like a smaller car. And then I noticed it was a hatchback. I'm like, never mind, that's just someone else coming here. And I was like, well, if they're vandals, I'm gonna scare the crap out of them.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it was funny too because we knew there was a lot of like wilderness around there, and we knew there's animals. So I brought this with me.
Ooh.
Which is my David Bowie knife. I call it kindness because Mama said kill him with kindness.
Right.
But yeah, I brought that with me, and I was like, I grabbed that, and then I have what's called a salt gun, not salt. It's like ASAULT, assault.
Assault.
But
Yeah.
what it's essentially a paintball gun, pistol, and each paintball has different things. Like there's one that has like a powdered version of mace, one that has kind of like a cough gas. Cough powder, sorry, and it just like you would hit the person or you hit somewhere around it, and essentially it would float to them, and
Right.
it's non-lethal, so it kind of demobilizes them enough to where you can get in or get away.
Right.
So, yeah, I did a lot of security training and stuff like that. So because
that's cool.
like, I found that on one of the websites.
You need
when
to
I
be
did the
prepared
security
when
class.
you're in
So, yeah.
places like that in the middle of the night because.
Oh yeah.
We're always armed when we're on
Yeah.
investigations because you really never know.
Oh yeah, completely.
And it's not so much like crazy humans, but like animals too.
Yeah.
Like if you happen to get attacked by like a Florida panther or something,
Yeah, which it's funny because there's a lot of things like when it comes to like animals itself, like bears are most likely to attack you. Panthers, Florida panthers, if you present yourself as a bigger animal, they won't even try to attack you, but they'll intimidate you and kind of stalk you until you turn your back on them, and then that's when they get you.
Yeah.
Boar, they don't give a rat's butt about you. If you're in their way or they feel like you're a threat to them or whatever pack they have, they will attack you.
Right.
And they taste
most
delicious.
of the times they just run from you.
Yeah, but when they try, they taste delicious because they don't ever feed. I'm a big boy, so it takes a lot to bring me down. But so there's that, and then there's what else do we have around here? I mean, even deer. Just the deer itself, like if there's a buck and it feels threatening, they're very territorial animals. They'll charge at you too. So I mean, even that. So
yeah,
most deaths, I think it was by animal or caused by animal or by deer. They jump out in front of you while you're driving. The antlers go into the windshield and they just thrash around.
See, I was born and raised in upstate New York, and we just moved to Florida. It'll be 6 years in June.
Yeah.
So I can't even tell you how many times some people that we knew would call us and be like, I hit a deer.
Yeah. The first time I did it, I freaked out. I was like, I hope that wasn't a human.
Yeah.
Immediately pull off to the side and start walking back. Yeah. Oh yeah. Completely. And I was just like, but I hit one. I'm just like, oh God. I was like, I didn't even think my car. I was like, I just killed something or somebody. I hope it's more of a something, but at the same time, I hope not.
Coyotes. Yeah.
Then coyotes are another thing. Yeah. There was at the Spring Hill Cemetery, we were literally hearing them like the barking, the howling. There's dogs in the neighboring houses, and they were
Yeah.
going crazy. And I was like, I looked at my friend, I was like, Rob, they know something's there. You
Yeah.
know, dogs just don't bark for no
And
reason.
that rickety fence ain't going to do nothing to protect
Oh
you.
yeah, no. Oh yeah, especially with how they've been taking care of the place, you know.
Yeah.
The fence is breaking in the back corner.
You
Where
got
we had
chased out
our
by coyotes.
Oh, I haven't been chased out by coyotes, but we were pretty much you could see them and hear them circling the whole entire like
Oh
fence
God.
line of the cemetery,
That would be
and we were just like, we need to get out of here because
Yeah.
I was like, this assault gun, this knife, it's not gonna stop many of them. Like, I could fight off maybe a couple or a few, but after that,
Yeah. Not when they come in
because they hunt
packs.
in packs. Yeah, they definitely hunt in packs. But that was, I essentially the first time we went there, and the big thing that we had that happened to us was when the couple showed up. They were drunk, inebriated. Um, they made it up to us, and we kind of like introduced ourselves and like show that we are both kind of friendly.
Mhm.
And then they started like kind of tagging along with us in our investigations. And it got to the point where, you know, the male started showing that he was more drunk than he said he was or thought he was.
Yeah.
And we got to the back, and he said that he literally felt like he was pushed.
Oh
All right.
wow.
And it was crazy because right when he fell over and hit the ground, the wind started picking up, and it came from behind him too. And he said he felt like he got pushed, like two hands pushed him. He hit his head on one of the gravestones, the same one in that back corner where it's now open.
Mhm.
All right. And right when he did that, it literally sounded like something was thrashing through the tree line right along where the fence was. I pointed my light out to the tree line. There's a little tiny opening about 8 feet off the ground.
Mhm.
And it looked like something was standing there staring at me. Like I saw the eyes glowing and everything. I was like, rationally, I was like, there's a bear. Irrationally, I was like,
Now,
there's
did
a
it look
Yeti.
like something like a big black shadow?
All I could see was it looked like something like this. And like
Right.
I saw like this weird kind of like outline of a huge head, and then it looked like shoulders and stuff like that. And it disappeared, and then you heard the thrashing. So I was like, maybe it was a bear standing up.
Well, you know the
know?
story about the gatekeeper at Spring Hill Cemetery, right? Oh, I think your mic went out. Can
you hear
There
me?
we go. Yes, there you go.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, the biggest thing about that place was the gatekeeper. We were trying to make contact with them, and we got a lot of names come through. So I don't know if there's
Yeah.
multiple gatekeepers or if he just doesn't like to give his actual name away. But a lot of names come through. But that was just like, it was just an eerie thing. Like the wind picked up, he fell, he hurt himself, he started bleeding. They rushed out of there. I got to the point where I was like, all right, we need to go, to where I cocked the gun and pulled the knife out, and I was like, we need to go.
Yeah.
And it was intense. But that was our intense
that cemetery.
moment there.
I always get really weird vibes in that cemetery, even during the day, because it's just unsettling. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, Sue, have a great night.
I kind of like explain to people, like, because like I said, I do feel things and stuff like that when I go to places. So I generally get like a touch of things, and at the same time, like I understand that like there's restless and there's people that are maybe newly buried there, so the energy from them is still strong, and you could feel the difference, and then there's just like when I go there, it's not negative per se, but then I guess over time it gradually gets there. It's kind of like riding your skateboard by a old person's house. Get off my lawn. They'll take it so much, and then there's one kick flip too many, and then they're like, ah!
Exactly.
I kind of feel like it's like that. The longer you stay there and you poke the bear, and then it's going to turn around. Yeah. So I feel like it's like a really good natural energy there, but then it just kind of progressively gets into this
very territorial when it comes to
exactly
the spirits.
Yeah, like
Yes.
I'm trying to sleep, And I feel bad for that too, but at the same time, like, I'm
We come in
sorry, man.
peace. We
This is
come in
what we're here
peace,
for. Yeah. Like,
right? If we're bothering
yeah.
you so much, why don't you give us more evidence?
Yeah. Give us something. Knock the tree down in front of us. Do something.
When I
You
was
know?
there,
Like,
somebody, like, I was hit in the back of my leg by like a stone
yeah.
or I don't
Okay.
even
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah. I remember
something.
that episode. Yeah. It was like during the day or something like that.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
very first
Yeah.
time I've ever been there.
Yeah. You were
We were
walking down the one side
yep.
going to the back. I remember watching that because I was like, wow, she gets stuff during the day. I'm like, if we
Yeah.
go to the day and we get that, I'm never going back at night. Like,
Yeah.
I'd
And
rather be able to see
it's funny
things.
that you mentioned about the wind picking up after he was pushed
Yeah.
because we didn't get pushed, but we were doing a spirit box back by the little
Yeah.
girl's grave. And there was no wind. There was not even like a stitch of a breeze. And all of a
Okay.
sudden, the wind came whipping up out of nowhere, like out of nowhere. And it got like really, really
Yeah.
strong to the point to where you couldn't even hear us talk because it was like blowing through the camera. And then it just stopped.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
stopped. Like it was so weird.
Yeah. I mean, between that and then it was funny too because we walked back to the car and we're like, okay, that was a little bit of a negative energy. Let's stage up. And my friend Rob mentioned in the comments just now, he goes, there we literally get we get the stage and we go to like where is it, like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not where we put it, like we put it by his car tire, we didn't want to
That's
put it
what he
back in the
said.
car,
Yeah.
and it was like shredded 30 feet away from the car.
That is
Like the
so
people
weird.
when they pulled up like what would have been like 2 car lengths away from his car
Hmm.
on the driver's side. So they would have never even seen the sage at all. And it was like
Right.
on his tire, pretty much tucked away underneath. And when we got back there, we're trying to look for it. I'm like, it's not there. It's shredded.
Wow.
Yeah, 30 feet away. I'm
How do you
looking for
explain
it, trying to
that?
find it.
I
No
mean,
idea. No
yeah.
idea. Other than like whatever negative, energy we kind of provoked to come out was like, you're not getting protected, and threw it, But I
Yeah.
was just like, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Absolutely. I mean, I've never had anything like that happen, but
Yeah.
it's like, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
Um,
I was like, how would you catch kind of evidence like that? I don't have enough GoPros to record everything.
right. Exactly. And that
Yeah.
usually when we go out, we have like 2 or 3 cameras going because I'll have one
Yeah.
or 2 cameras or my husband will have 1 or 2 cameras.
Yeah.
And even
And
when I'm going live, like obviously I have my cell phone because I'm going live, but
yeah.
my husband will have the Canon and he'll be recording because
Yeah.
just in case, just in
Yeah.
case.
Exactly. And I think that if that video is the same one I'm thinking it is, when the rock was thrown at you,
Hmm.
I think you went back over by the Mobleys
Yep.
plot where that big stone is, and
Yeah.
there's a little like window of bricks. When you
Hmm.
went by there, our candles were actually there too.
Oh,
They were
were
sitting
they?
on the little ledge of bricks that are in that brick,
Oh,
that big
okay.
stone. 2 of our candles were there, which was funny too, because when you recorded it, I see the 2 candles still there. And I go, that's weird, because I put 3 there.
Oh.
And then when we went there the next time, they were still there. The 2 that I saw in the video, your video, they
Hmm.
were in a different spot though. They were higher up. I think one was higher up and one was more further off to the side, lower down. And
Somebody could have moved them or
I'm like, somebody moved them, but they weren't used. They were still at the same height from your video, same height
right.
from the last time we were there. And I was just like, okay, so someone just moved them? Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. But the one that went missing is the one for safe passage. So the only
Okay.
2 that were up were the protection one of a level like 1 protection, and then
Mhm.
the other one was just communication. So
Okay.
there's a doorway and protection, and that's it. So
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
yeah. So
Wonder
someone
where the
took the
other one
one.
went.
Yeah, I looked everywhere for it too, and I was like, I can't find it. But even more interesting, they still lit after all
Hmm.
that time, weather,
Weather and
all that
rain.
stuff,
Yeah.
Florida. I was
Yeah.
like, how did they still light? I was like, these candles are amazing. But so I ordered more.
That's awesome. All right, so
Yeah,
I want to take obviously we're coming up on an hour and a half here, so I don't want to keep
Okay, yeah.
everybody for too much longer. So if anybody else has any questions for me or Alex or even Rob, he's in the chat. Please go ahead and ask before we wrap up. But I did want to finalize this by asking you, are you guys interested in doing a collaboration like over at Indian Spring or Charlotte Memorial? Because I would love to get together with you guys and investigate and film.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've been talking about it off and on too, about collaborating with you, and pretty much I've been the one communicating with you. So yeah, I would love to do it. I know he would love to do it. It's just gonna be figuring out time, the day and time and stuff like that. Because I know you mostly go through to some places during the day. We mostly go to the night. We both obviously love Indian Spring Cemetery, and I feel like if we did collaborate, 100%, the things that you catch that we don't, and we catch that you don't, I feel like it would be 100%.
I feel like with all of us in there, that place is going to go chaotic.
That too. All the energies we're gonna bring into it, and all the energies we're gonna provoke at the same time.
Right.
It's intense. Like, oh man, because every time we go there, like I said, I see things at the corner of my eye, or I see things dead on in my vision. The Estes method that we do, I always get things like yelling at me and telling us to that they're gonna do crazy things
and get
I'm like,
out.
oh my god, yeah, it's so
and
crazy.
Then the big one in some Indian Spring is they're coming.
Oh yeah,
that's what they always say. They're coming. It's like who's coming?
Yeah,
we'll catch a full body apparition. Maybe that would be cool.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Yes, I will need a diaper if we catch a full body apparition, because I will just ignore the toiletries and go right there.
Right.
But if we catch that's another thing. If I ever caught a full body apparition, I don't even know what I would do. Like, I literally probably freeze, because I've heard things and I felt things. Like, me and my friend, we've both gone to places and had our shirt tugged, and a lot of times they say that's children's spirits.
Yeah.
But also, they say you can't trust the whole child spirit thing at some cemeteries, because you don't know if it's a demon pretending to be a spirit.
Exactly.
Waiting for you to lower your guard down. And so there's that. And I don't know. We get a lot of like tugs at our shirts, the strings, my necklace. I like this, this prayer bead necklace, and
or how
stuff
about
like that.
the straps like on your backpack? I think that happened to one of you guys.
Yeah. So I think it was at Indian Spring Cemetery. I think the strap on my backpack literally went, like, I looked away and I went to go look back to grab the light that I have hanging from the strap. And I looked down and I see the actual strap, the tightener one. It was up and it dropped. And I'm like,
I remember that in your video. And what's funny is that happened to both my husband and my brother in Indian Spring Cemetery.
That's
and
crazy.
When it happened to my husband, we were in the Hewitt Mausoleum, which I believe that's where you were when it happened.
Yeah. I think we were walking up to it, or we were right out in front of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were out in front of it. And then it happened to my brother last week. But that's when we were in the backpack. I don't know if you know the burial where they have like the big red roses, the big plastic red roses. It was like back there in that area that it happened to him. And he's like kind of a skeptic, he's not really, he believes in it, but he doesn't. And it caught him off guard so much that he like jumped and he grabbed onto me. And I was live, but I had my camera pointed in a different direction, so you didn't see him like jump. He started freaking out, and he was like, oh my God, I know somebody did that. I felt it lift up, and then it went back down and it hit me in the leg. He was like straight freaking out. But they love to do that in that cemetery.
It's funny too, because there was like a video like way back in the day I remember watching on YouTube, and there was like it was a couple, it was a woman and a man, and they were at a cemetery, and the like something really close to the male, it like fell over or whatever, and he like jumped, and it was like the Scooby-Doo and Shaggy kind of thing, and he jumped, and the woman caught him, and they started backing up, and she's like holding him, and I was just like, no way. That's just so funny. Like, I couldn't stop laughing, and I was just like, I've been there. Like, no one caught me, but I've had things just like fall that I couldn't catch on camera, but they would fall, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I just need a 360 camera sitting on my head,
Yeah. I know you
sitting on my
guys heard
belt.
it. It did happen. You
Yeah.
guys heard it, right?
Yeah, I'm like, no one's seen it, just me. I'm like, I noticed that
Hmm.
thing was standing and now it's on the ground. But, and then
Yeah.
the jailhouse, we had a GoPro pointing down this one hallway by our cell because
Hmm.
there's a big metal door that leads to like the utility room, I think it was, or like where the water mains are. And it's a heavy metal door. Like I tried opening, you really got to push it.
Yeah.
And it like apparently slammed one day when everyone was in the cells, and
Oh,
they like
wow.
the people that were the closest, they got up and they were like, what the fuck was that? Did anyone catch that? What was that? It sounded like the door slammed, and it was like shut.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so that was crazy. And then so we had a GoPro facing that way. We had we just had one cat ball at the time,
Hmm.
which we had at 86 recently because it just stopped working. um
Oh,
yeah, so that's why
hence
I
why
got
you got
three.
more.
Yeah, I was like, well, got to get more because we've gotten stuff with those, and it's just like it's so unexplainable, like
Exactly.
that. It's just yeah, it
See,
baffles
I'm
me when
I'm
they start
pretty
going off.
confident when the cat ball goes off. It's like one of the few
Yeah,
pieces of equipment that when it goes
yeah,
off, it's like, yeah, I'm pretty confident that that's probably a
yeah,
spare.
and then yeah, you were using those, and then the motion sensor lights in the dark hallway.
Yep.
And it was funny too because I had just gotten a motion sensor light, and I set it up, and I didn't test it, which I should have tested it, but I put the batteries in it. We go to the one cemetery that we just recently were at, and we were doing like kind of like a there's a little K2 and the lights, and we had the necrophonic going, and we're asking questions and stuff like that. And the light wouldn't work.
Mm.
It would either turn on and stay on, or it wouldn't even sense anything moving in front of it and turn on.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I was just like, all right, well, this is brand new and not working. So,
Unless something was messing with it.
or something was messing with it. But I took the batteries out, I changed the batteries, and it kept doing the same thing. And I'm just like, all right,
Oh,
well,
okay. Yeah.
there's that. So if I get more, I'll get a couple or something like that. So if one goes wrong, at least I have a backup and stuff. And
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. That's why we have two of them.
yeah,
Yeah, because you just never know. It really throws you off because you're like, what even was that? Nothing is behind you, or someone is, but there's no way they could have touched you. Yeah. I think he's
yeah,
talking about when your backpack or your shirt gets
yeah. And then there's
tugged.
nothing there. You're
Yeah.
like, there's nothing there. Like we're literally like so many times I'm looking back and I'm like, I'm thinking maybe I got caught on something. Like there's a tree,
Yeah.
a
That's what
branch,
I always
a
assume.
bush, and I look around. And I'm like, there's nothing around me.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing. I'm
That's what
like, maybe it was
I
a
always
spider web.
check. Or I ask somebody, I'm like, even though you're in front of me right now, were you magically behind me 2 seconds ago? Because
Yeah.
something touched me and I don't know what it was. And they're
And
like,
they're
nope,
like,
I've been up here the whole
no,
time.
no, I didn't do it. I was like, all right, keep your secrets, wizard. All right. But
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it's there's so many crazy moments that I'm just like, I can't catch all this on camera.
Hmm.
Like if I just had
Yeah.
like the whole 360 cameras all around me, the whole time, I'll make like a hula hoop or something
Yeah.
with suspenders on it and just put GoPros at
Or you
every
just like get
point,
like a helmet and put little,
or a helmet and just have GoPros just pointing at
oh
different
my
directions.
gosh, that would be
You
so
know,
funny. Oh my gosh.
I've seen these setups where you can put it's like a little circular thing like a platform, and it has these like almost like clamps coming out of it, and they're pointed in four different directions,
Hmm.
and you can put like either the laser lights there, or you can put like the where
Oh
they shoot out
yeah.
the grids, or
Hmm.
you can put GoPros,
Right.
put it in the center of a room, and then you pretty much got every angle. So if you see something walking
Yeah.
on one wall and then it continues down the other wall, you got it on two different cameras at least.
Exactly. You can
And then
keep
the
watching
grids,
it.
pretty much same thing. Yeah.
Yes, my hair. They love my hair. That's
Yeah.
what my husband
The
just said in the chat. They love, especially in the dark hallway cemetery.
yeah.
Again, Charlotte Memorial, but we call it the dark hallway cemetery. Uh,
Yeah.
it's when we're in that hallway, like that long dark hallway. I mean, the mausoleum is dark and everything, and that's cool. But I'm talking about the actual hallway.
Yeah.
And whenever we're in that, like my hair, it always feels like they pick it up and let it go. and we were
Yeah.
collaborating with Vinny from Lost Souls Paranormal. He went there with us
Okay.
once, and I felt it, and I was live, and I was like, oh my God, like something picked up my hair. And I
Yeah.
turned around and I looked at him, and he's going, and I go, what? He goes, I just watched your hair rise up and fall down. And I'm like,
That's
I
crazy.
felt it. Like, oh my gosh. But luckily, or not luckily, he didn't get it on camera. But I wish he did, because he was kind of behind me, but he was like facing off to the side of me type thing. And I don't know if he was just shocked, because when I looked at him, like I said, he's like,
Yeah. See, and that's crazy too, because then that makes things so like uncredible, you know?
yeah.
So like you felt something, you have a personal experience, that's one thing, but there's always gonna be that one person that's gonna be in disbelief.
Mhm.
And you know, or you'll have like 10 people that's in disbelief because it's just a personal experience. But
Yeah.
even if you record it, you catch on video your hair going up and then falling down on its own, you might have 5 people that are saying, nah, that didn't really happen, that's just the wind, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like, even if you do catch something, there's always gonna be these naysayers,
Or you have
you know, that
like
just don't
fishing
want to
line
believe.
tied to your hair or something. People
That
always go for
too.
the fishing line.
Like there's this like new famous video of these 2 paranormal investigators. I think they're speaking a foreign language. I can't remember what language it was, but they're
Mhm.
somewhere, and the one guy's laying in one of the graves, and he's got a light in one hand, I think a camera in the other, and there's a camera pointed at him, and then all of a sudden his shirt just goes up and then drops, and he freaks
I
out
saw
and he runs.
that. Almost like somebody like literally grabbed
Like,
it and then let it
pulled it.
go.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of
Yes.
people that are like, that's great evidence. You know, if this is real, that's great evidence. And I like that. That's a great
Yeah.
response to that. But then there's the people that go, nope, that's too fake. You know, it's obviously there's maybe a
But you
string
could
in
see
there or
like the
something. I'm like,
fist.
it
You could
literally
see the
looks
fist.
like, like handprints, like
Yep.
the indentations of actual digits of fingers grabbing it like this and
Yes.
pulling it. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
that was creepy.
that's, I mean, even if it's fake, that's a really good fake, but at the same time, like, it does look so real.
Oh, in Vietnam, his shirt got grabbed twice. Yeah, I saw that. That was really, really creepy.
Yeah, oh, Vietnam? Yeah, okay. Yeah, is his shirt grabbed? Yeah. And then there was another one I saw that had to do with Bram Stoker, not Bram Stoker, Dracula's castle, Vladimir's castle.
Oh,
Who
Bram
was,
Stoker. I just read a book by him, Dracul.
Dracul, yeah.
I just got done reading that, and I passed it on to my mother to read because it was really good.
Well, there's if in Romania they have the actual like Dracula's castle, you can do tours in it and stuff like that. I was just watching this group I've been following for a while. They went there, and they have like tons of experiences while they were there, and I was like, okay, when we ever get into the point where we start traveling out of the country, I would love to go there. But not only that castle, right in there's like a forest really like right nearby, and it's like the Blair Witch of forest.
Wow.
There's a huge circle
It's
where no
actually one of my
vegetation
favorite
grows.
movies. One of my favorite horror movies.
I used to love Blair Witch, and I was so young when I first watched it. I was like, "This is real."
No, I think I was like 18 or 19 when it came out, and at that point, everybody thought it was real because they literally led you to believe that it was real until like the Oscars or something, and the actors won an award. And we're like, there they are.
They even had a website. I was trying to look up where Coffin Rock was. I'm like, where's Coffin Rock? I want to know where this is.
And then they had like the police reports. Like you could find the police reports online too, even though it was really weird. They really did a good job making people believe that that was real.
Oh yeah, they did great. And it's funny too, because some of the stuff that they like the forest they went into, there's a forest that's actually right like that.
Yeah.
And it's called the Poconoke Forest. I think it's in Washington. I think it's in Washington. It's a really long stretch of forest.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, the mob and like gang members would do drug deals out there, and if it goes awry, it's cool. You're out in the middle of the woods. Someone dies, just leave them there. No one's gonna find them. You know.
So true.
There's like she was a documented like witch, and her cabin was out there, and it's made of stone, and she has all these like runes and stuff on the stones, and like the stone pathway going up to her house. So there's that, and I was like, that sounds like the Blair Witch Project.
Exactly.
And I was looking it up, and I was like, they based it off of the Poconoke Forest.
Wow.
So I was like, that's cool. So
That is
there's
cool.
things about that movie that's based off of actual things that have happened. So I was like, that's cool as hell. I when I
Yeah.
was in high school, I did the play The Crucible,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up playing the witch hunter.
Oh,
And I
cool.
when I get into a role, what do they call it? Method. You become like a method actor. Like Jim Carrey's the most known for it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm literally like looking up what a witch hunter would have done. I'm like,
Yeah.
crosses. All right, he has salt, holy water, like it's all in his
The more
shirt.
you're
I was like,
educated, the better you
yeah,
can.
yeah, to
Yeah.
play the role. I was like, it
Hmm.
really wasn't that high of a budget, because it was the first play that school did. It was the new school, so we kind of had a lower budget. I
You
was
still
like,
got to kill
in
it
my
though.
yeah, in my head, I was like, I remember all my lines. No one else remembered their lines. I was reminding them of their lines as I was saying my lines.
Oh,
So I'm
wow.
just like, yeah.
That is so
So
cool.
so it just gets to that point where I'm like in character now, and then like if you see me in the videos, that's I'm like I'm not playing a character. That's definitely me. But at the same time,
Right.
like when I get into like the historical part, I'm like this happened, like that happened. I get very into it, and I'm like I've recited those lines over and over and over again before we go somewhere. So
Right, right. I bet you it was good play then.
yeah, like it's not that I don't like to be on camera and stuff like that. I'm not stage shy. I'm not one of those like I'm not an introverted person. I love being a people person. So it's just like, yeah. So it's like I was made to be on the camera, even though I'm mostly behind the camera. So
Right, right.
it happens though.
Well, I don't see any more questions pop up, but I do want
Yeah.
to thank you so so much, Alex, for joining me today and being on my channel. It was definitely an
Yeah.
honor to have you up here.
Oh yeah.
And also to you, Rob, in the chat. I know you couldn't be here
Yeah.
with us, but thank you for being in the chat. And I was reading the whole time everything he was saying that was kind of
Yeah.
perpendicular with everything that you were saying. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Um,
pretty much we cover each other's stories.
yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
awesome. But yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely want to get together with you guys and do a
Oh
collaboration
yeah.
over at Indian Springs. So you guys discuss that and figure out when you can do that, and then
Oh yeah.
just get a hold of me and we'll plan that because I'm pretty flexible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, most likely our days like with my job, it's really hard to get any kind of day off other than what I have already set.
mhm,
Um, unless I like literally announce it like a month ahead of time.
right.
And just move days around pretty much.
Hmm.
Because we're so short staffed. So, um, since I already requested like so many days off this month, it wouldn't be for maybe a couple of weeks if anything. But
Hmm.
unless you want to do it on like a Monday or Tuesday, I'm totally down for that. If
Yeah,
Rob's down,
definitely.
if he asks, that'd be cool too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
because I always get
my
those days
husband
off.
usually gets home from work around 6:37, so we can,
Yeah,
it's not he doesn't get home too late, so we can always go out
yeah,
after that.
oh
Whichever day
yeah,
is easiest for you, like I said, you guys figure that out
for
together and
sure.
then just get a hold of me and we'll
Oh
definitely
yeah,
plan that out. I'm excited
oh
for
yeah,
that.
definitely. And I think it was like actually when he was doing the live stream at the dark hallway, and you weren't there
Yeah.
because you were going through the whole Instagram problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, which that's horrible. That's
It
bogus, man.
was. It
That's so
was.
crazy. I've
I
known
was
you
so
for only a
glad that they
little bit, and I
resolved it
can tell you're
fast.
not like that. Yeah, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
But um, but when he was there and he heard the walking and tapping, that
Hmm.
was we had heard that. I think we caught it on camera when we were there, if I remember that correctly. I had to go
That's when
back
he
in the
was in the
video.
big mausoleum, I believe, right?
Yeah, and it
Hmm.
kept saying over the necrophonic, "old man" or "grumpy" and
Yeah.
"old spirit," stuff like that. And I kept feeling like an older kind of like energy, like an older person or someone maybe like a caretaker to the place, or maybe an older
Yeah.
spirit that just took up that kind of position. But then the tapping, it coincided with the steps, and I was like, maybe it's an old person with a cane walking around,
That's what it
tap tap.
sounds like.
Yeah, so I just kind of
Yeah.
like put that in my head, and then you would see like a shadow pop around the corner, like he was speaking, like, "You guys messing around in there or something," and then dip, and then he just dipped the second I point the camera there.
So they're even
So,
miserable after they die.
you can't appease everybody, you can't
Right,
please
right.
everybody. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, but definitely a collaboration that would be awesome in the future.
definitely.
Um, Oh yeah, definitely. This right here is already awesome too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I just love to sit here and talk about, you know, similar experiences that we've had and things like that
yeah,
because I've collabed with other people
yeah,
and I mean, we can just sit and talk for hours because there's just so
yeah.
much, you know.
It and it's funny too because like I work overnights and when I go there after doing paranormal investigations for like a day straight or 2 days straight or something, I got like
Hmm.
one or two coworkers that love hearing the stories, you know, and the
Yeah.
experiences through me, and it's kind of like they experience it through me. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. So they get an earful the second I get back from anything, and
That's so
then they
cool.
follow me. So I'm like, all right, watch the video, like, subscribe, share it, you
That's
know,
awesome.
stuff
And
like
speaking of
that.
which, I
So
believe you, I don't know how many, but I know you got quite a few subscribers tonight because they were
yeah,
announcing it in the
that's
chat. So
awesome.
that's awesome. Again, thank you to
Yeah,
everybody who subscribed. And if you
yeah.
haven't subscribed to AR Paranormal, their link is in the description. Go ahead and click on that. They do
Link
really,
in the
really good
description. Yeah.
investigations.
Yes, Jones.
Investigations. But
Yeah.
anyway, so again, Alex, thank you so very much for joining me tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
I hope to have you on panel again. I would love to. I'll let you
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, that'd
And
be awesome. And even if you do the collaboration, that's it's gonna be great.
yes.
Not yeah, I we're hitting it off with a bash when it comes to AR Paranormal right now.
Hmm.
We're already starting off the year with this huge thing. We even found this huge new cemetery that we're
Oh,
probably gonna be doing
cool.
more videos there. It's gigantic. There's a literally like where the shadow hallway is, the dark hallways you're talking about, how
Yep.
they have those walls where there's the people in the walls.
Yep.
Imagine that, but 3 stories high with staircases, ponds, an elevator, everything. A huge
Oh,
epicenter with it looks like fire pits, but it could just be like actual like flower beds and then tables and chairs. That was in
oh,
our
wow.
last video I posted, or I'm trying to post if YouTube would just let me
I was going to say,
freaking
I don't
post
think
it
I saw
already.
that one, but I can't wait to see
Yeah,
that. It sounds
it said
interesting.
pending the other day, so I'm like, it's been pending at 58% for the past like
Mm.
18 hours. So
There's actually
I don't know
another
if I'll do
cemetery that
that.
we recently went to. I'm not going to say the
Yeah,
name of it, but I will send
yeah.
you the information to that one so that you guys can
Okay,
maybe check that one out too,
check
because
that
it
one out.
sounds a little similar to the one that you just mentioned, even though it's
Yeah.
probably not. But yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, but it's great, and that's smart too because there's so many people that once they hear about something, they're like, I'm gonna go there, you know, and I'm like,
yeah.
don't trash it, please, like, yeah. So, but
Anytime,
well,
KK.
all right,
But all right, so I am going to bid you a good night and everybody in the chat a good night. This was a lot of fun.
definitely,
I enjoyed this. And again, thank you so much for joining me.
yeah. Thank you for
And
having me.
again, everybody in the chat, have a good night.
All right, see you guys.
And
See you,
all
everybody.
right, we'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.